Welcome back to Film Snob HQ. The road to Avengers Doomsday continues. This is the final MCU film from this phase. It's the last movie in Phase 3. It's the last movie in the Infinity Saga of the MCU. And it is the second last movie in the fourth era of Marvel films, the final Fox years. As we talked about before, generally what Marvel have done in the MCU is after a major event, they bring in a palate cleanser. So Avengers followed up with Iron Man 3, which was a lighter Iron Man film. Age of Ultron, they followed up with Ant-Man. Infinity War, they followed up with Ant-Man and the Wasp. And with Endgame, they went with a little bit of a different way, but definitely a more humorous film. And that is, of course, the second Sony collaboration, Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, this is probably my least favorite in the Spider-Man trilogy. Not saying it's a bad film by any stretch of the imagination, but the first one is incredible, and the third one is just an absolute feat. You cannot believe they made it happen. So it does have middle child syndrome, but there's definitely a lot to enjoy here. Just like in Iron Man 3, where kind of, Tony was dealing with the fallout of the first Avengers film, Spider-Man is kind of going through a bit of a PTSD following the events of Infinity War and Endgame. His mentor is dead. The Avengers are disbanded, and he doesn't really know where he belongs. He just kind of wants to be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but more than anything, he just wants to have a break. And we have to remember that this kid is 16 years old. Like, he's fought against Thanos, he's fought against aliens, he's fought against the Vulture. He just wants to have a summer vacation and just be a teenager, spend time with his friends, and maybe ask out the girl that he likes. However, Nick Fury's not going to let that happen. There are invaders already. The alien invasion of Thanos is over, and now there's new elementals at work. Enter Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Mysterio claims to be a warrior from another Earth that was destroyed by the elementals. He used technology to get to our Earth, which is Spider-Man's Earth, and now the elementals have followed him there, and he needs to put them at bay, which puts Spider-Man at maybe one of his greatest challenges yet. It's a bit of a road trip film. It's a cross Europe film. He goes into a bunch of different countries and has to fight the elementals. He doesn't have his spider suit at first, but Nick Fury sets him up with a new suit, the Night Monkey suit, if you will, where he teams up with Mysterio to fight the elementals. But just when you think it's all under control, it is revealed, of course, if you're a comic book fan, you knew this, Mysterio is actually a villain. I remember my wife said to me after we saw this film, she goes, I really wish you hadn't told me Mysterio was a villain. That would have been a good twist. Yeah, there you go. I ruined it for her. I didn't ruin it. It was okay. It's a really fun flick. So I don't think it's a bad film. I just feel like it's not the most Spider-Man of films. He doesn't get to do much Spider-Man. In fact, most of this film is him not wanting to be Spider-Man. And following Endgame, I really wanted Spider-Man to be Spider-Man. But that's okay. Like, it's still a fun flick. All the performances are wonderful. Jake Gyllenhaal is excellent as Quentin Beck, both as the charming hero facade that he puts on, and then as the devious villain he reveals himself to be. Whilst it's not my favorite film, the visual effects and the sequences in this film are some of the best of any Marvel film. The whole Mysterio sequence where Spider-Man ends up fighting himself, fighting 100 Mysterios, seeing zombie Iron Man, all of that stuff is incredible. Some of the most visually interesting stuff they've done in any film. It took so long to get this character on the screen. Mysterio was meant to show up in Sam Raimi's films. It was going to be in the fourth one. It was going to be Bruce Campbell, who'd been in the first three films. It was going to be revealed that he was Quentin Beck monitoring Spider-Man all these years. That obviously didn't happen, but we have him now. And I hope we get him back, because Mysterio is such a cool character. Mysterio is instrumental in the Old Man Logan storyline. We talked about Old Man Logan in my last episode, or the one before. And he's the one who tricks Wolverine to killing the X-Men. He's also in a really good Daredevil storyline, Guardian Devil. So I like Mysterio quite a bit. I want to see more of him. Probably the thing that people know most about this film, or remember most from this film, is not the film itself, but what it sets up next. This film ends with something that's never happened in the Spider-Man films before, and that's that Spider-Man's identity is revealed to the world. Everyone knows at the end of this film that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and that sets up No Way Home. We have J.K. Simmons in a cameo returning as J. Jonah Jameson, which means he's an anchor being or a nexus being, because he's the same character in every single film, which I like. I like that he's J. Jonah Jameson in this one as well. But yeah, it's a good flick. It's a really good flick. It just, it's just not the other two. but definitely a lot of fun. We also have a reveal in the post-credit sequence that Maria Hill and Nick Fury are not who they appear to be, and they are in fact Talos and another Skrull from the Captain Marvel film. It doesn't really indicate how long they've been impersonating Nick Fury and Maria Hill, but it seems like at least since Endgame. My headcanon is it's only been since Endgame. The Nick Fury in the Avengers films was actually Nick Fury. But we cut to space, and Nick Fury is now on board, I think it's called Saber, which is a space station designed to protect from intergalactic threats, which is going to come back up later in the Marvels. So in terms of returning characters, the only new character really in this film is Mysterio, and I hope he shows up in Secret Wars. He probably won't show up in Doomsday, but Secret Wars would be cool. I think Jake Gyllenhaal's a great actor. I'm kind of bummed he's just a one-and-done villain because they didn't kill off Vulture, but I suppose they also have to bring in some stakes and kill off some villains as well. But I hope he comes back because he's a really cool actor and it's a really great character. We know the Mysterio mythos still exists because one of his tech engineers left with the files at the end of the film. Yeah. Next up is the New Mutants.